And hello everyone, all about the gyro here. Welcome to my first impression on the brand new iR-04. So this is a Formula 4 car based on the new regulations that have come out this year. 6 forward gears, 160 brake horsepower.
Sorry for that.
And iRacing is definitely serious about this car because this will be an open setup series in the D license, and they've made setups. So, I figure in one last drive
31 miles per hour.
here at the old house before I move, I would drive this around a little bit.
There's traffic behind. Watch your mirrors.
We're here at Orne Park. So, pretty good test for these cars. And I'll give you my first impression driving this car in a race. Now, I've already said what I think the car is, but there's nothing like racing it and figuring it out and confirming that your suspicion is correct. And what I have said this car is a calmer Formula Renault 2.0. And if that's the case, this is going to be a great little car. So, has the halo, so in iRacing, you can do this transparent halo. And welcome to Orne Park's first corner. So you can see why I like what I'm seeing so far. So I did a little bit of practice, and that's why you see the all-time up. So let me change that now, because I want to look at it at what it is. And I've forgotten. Yeah, I was there. I just was silly. And let's do that. And let's go into a race. So these are unofficial races. They're, in essence, unrated for those unaware. But I wanted to So 160 brake horsepower, 6 forward gears. My first initial, when I got the car and said, okay, I'll drive it around a few laps, is this should replace the Formula Renault 2.0. That is what I'm expecting. And we're not even going to qualify. We're just going to grid up, race it, see how it goes. So let me show you what iRacing did. So what they've done is they have provided setups. And they've built these setups. And if you count, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. They wrote 15 setups, but there's only 12 weeks to a season. Who knows why they did that? But it gives a little bit of insight. And since this is an iRacing setup, I can show it to the world. The first thing I want to draw your attention to is the arrow. So I will tell you, if you go max downforce, which in the front is 4 is maximum, the rear is 10, this car has a lot of oversteer. It's definitely prone to spin. That's the first big thing. The second big thing is the starting pressures are only 17 pounds per square inch. For the metric fans, is 117. The next thing is look at the adjustability in this car, and this has surprised me a little bit. So Formula Renault 2.0 has some of this style of adjustability in it as well. But that is an older car that is no longer raced. It was basically usurped by what is now Formula 3. And the 2.0 was linked to the F3. The more accurate car to have looked at for this comparison is the Formula Renault 1.6. Similar horsepower, similar concept to this, the F4. But as you've noticed, there's some adjustability here. You can change spring rates, caster, camber, and toe.
The track temperature's decreasing. It's now 93 Fahrenheit.
And this is an entry-level open wheeler. So I'm sure the setup makers are going to be trying to figure out what the secret setup is on this. Now, another thing to bring to your attention, the ARBs. Anti-roll bar is important. You notice the description down below. The front is large balance changes. The rear is tiny changes. So the Barber setup was at 4. I went to 5. That's all you can go. I wanted less oversteer. In the anti-roll bar, 1 is, so basically this car is set up to be most loose. And the rear bar is set up to be for fine tuning. The next is push rod. So if you notice, the push rod is right height without changing the spring, so they work together. Very nice. And then you have these compression and rebound. So your maximum is 10. This set is running 6. And then the rebound is also max of 10. This is running 5. Like I'm using Barber because that's what was recommended to me in the Sunday Night Skippy Discord. Now, you can turn on and off the halo. You can change the brake bias in the car. And I will tell you that for some, you will need to change it. Remember, these sets are set to be safe. I was able to drive this on a lot less brake bias to shift to the rear. So
The leader has just done a 104.1.
and the aliens are doing very fast lap times. We have gotten around here in like a minute 6 and change. So we would be below where Mark Bennett is, to give you a frame of reference. So this is basically a generic car, so they didn't have to go to the Lara, for example, or other F4 manufacturers and buy a license. They did this in-house. And I think there's a couple of reasons for it. I think the first reason is the flop. That is the iR-01. They went to Dallara, they designed this beautiful car. The car is a fantastic car. It's the iRacing population, the vast majority are not prepared to drive a 900 horsepower beast. It's a great car. But the community just poo-pooed it, and they really shouldn't have. It's a great car. That's the first part, because they worked with Dallara. That means there was resources and money and such put into that. The second part of this is, by being able to do this in-house and things thereof, what you're going to find is the ladder of open wheel racing. If you now look at both Road to Indy and the Formula One ladder, they're both missing the second level, F2 Indy Lights. The rest of it exists. Now, our F3 car in iRacing, rumor has it they made some major updates. I'm wondering if we got an updated version of the F3 car and they just flew it in under the radar. I don't know. I don't drive F3 a lot. But this open wheel ladder now is being built. You get the last two cars constructed. And this is now a very good training tool. And I'm tweaking my brake bias here. We're going to go to 57. That's how much brake bias I'm taking out of the car. So now you have this great training tool. You're going to have races and all that based on this car. And I would be negligent if I didn't mention the following. The Skip Barber School uses F4s, and they're hosting a $500,000 competition in this car. And as I understand it, it's going to be a time trial format. The 20 fastest drivers get into a race and they duke it out. And whoever is tops in that competition, and it's multiple weeks, they get a fully funded seat in a real life car. And I think it's either Formula Ford 1600 or an F4 car. Fully funded real life racing seat. That's the first place. This is exciting stuff, and I'm very, very happy to see this car. I'm sad to know that Formula Renault 2.0 is probably going away after season 2, but this is a worthy successor, I feel. And I've only driven it 3 laps, and I think it's a great car. Little snappy in the back. So I've been softening it up a little bit.
Yes.
Let me mute. But my gut feeling is this car, I think, is going to race very, very well. We have not practiced a standing start, so in this car, so be aware of that. My gut feeling is this is going to be another hit on the iRacing service. And we have to thank Mercedes for this. Getting the Mercedes Petronas Formula One car. And talk about that team. Have you seen their B-Spec car at Bahrain? Yeah. As I said in Paul Webster's Discord, donde está el Cipod? And he had a good laugh over it. And he's known about it, and he just couldn't say anything. So
The track temp is 93.
I'm running
the air temp
8
is 79
instead
Fahrenheit.
of 9.
15 minutes. You'll need to get on with this. Okay, Dwayne, get
All right,
ready.
let's see what we got.
Green, green, green.
Oh, this car starts very easily. So about 7,000, give or take. I would assume this is a 4-cylinder motor. I'm expecting a lot of death.
On your right, clear right.
And this is what happens.
We'll need to pit for repairs. We've been called in by the stewards.
Yep. Yep, this car's broken.
Start's alright. Let's build on it.
So let's see what happened on the start, because that didn't surprise me at all. And that's why it's unranked. So let me do that. So let's back it up and see what happened. And we'll look at this, and here is the one minus. And it looks like it happened up ahead. So you can basically get on the gas and go.
Bennett is now in the lead.
And so they're already off up there. If you look ahead, they're already off. And there's the spin. So we'll roll it forward here. So that's not the problem. So that's not the problem. Okay, we may have found the problem. He's going backwards. And this guy is trying to get going. And you can see my car back there. The wing and the wheel is broken. So we see what happened. And then he just lost it. So this is not an easy car to deal with. And that is just not my fault.
The leader has just done a 106.1.
I'll take her fast repair. And that's why these are unranked. So we'll do some laps.
Pit exit looks clear.
We'll see how quick the tires come up to temp.
Yellow flag.
So you do feel the bumps in the direct drive wheel. I'll tell you that right now. You feel it. And I have cold tires, so
Blue flag.
oh, sympathy spin.
On your left, clear left.
So cold tires. They be real.
Blue flag.
And yep, running. You cannot chase the car into that corner. You can feel the wheel hop
The leader's just done a
in this chassis.
105.7.
It's noticeable. And that's why I liked Oran Park as a choice, because you get the idea of how this car weight transfers. And you do feel it in the rear.
Okay, Dwayne, 10 minutes to go. That's 10 minutes left.
And you
Heads up,
can
there's a car rejoining.
catch the car if you anticipate the spin a little
Last
bit.
lap was at 107.6. Blue flag.
And now the tires are warmed up a little bit. But you definitely feel the suspension working a lot more than you did in, let's say, the USF 2000. Never really felt this.
On your left. Clear left.
Yep, and you sent it in because you're a muppet.
Blue flag.
Car right.
Don't send it in.
Hold your line. Hold your line. Clear right.
So there's another thing that you're going to run into in this series: overconfidence. He has to assume that I haven't seen him. Drive appropriately. And that's the problem where you may have to drive from the back in this series to learn how to drive the car, because you're going to have a lot of that. Car's nice and grippy. Nice and grippy. But you can really feel the car unload. And I like that. It has a very nice feel.
Okay, Dwayne, halfway home. We've got plenty of fuel.
When it comes to that.
Tenth position.
But yeah, I honestly expect racing from the back to be how I would race this series. Because the big minus is this going to be baby F3 in terms of driving standards? Will, you can tell, has done a little bit more driving in this than I have. He's catching up to me pretty quick. So.
Yellow flag.
Oh, that was the guy ahead of me. Teo, I had a little bit of an issue. And Will is... I don't know where Will is. A little bit on the snappy side. So, if you drive smoothly, this car really rewards you. Let's see how the draft is. Not a lot of draft, actually. Not much draft. didn't really pull me too much.
All right, Dwayne, don't think about the lap times. Just hit each and every apex. That's 5 minutes to go, 5 minutes.
So, I think this race has captured, I think, what this series is going to become. It's going to be a lot of crash and bash. At the time of this, I'm 15-20. If you avoid the carnage, you're going to get a result. Car itself, if you've driven Formula Renault 2.0, you're going to really like this car. I think you're really going to like it.
You need to push if we're going to hold this position.
Now, for those that are used to driving Skippy, you are definitely going to feel the error wash. The error wash is noticeable. There is working aero on this. That's a pass for position. And you can bleed the throttle too. You can give it a little bit of maintenance throttle as well. "15-minute races. Keeping up with Mr. Murray here. It tells me and everybody's in the same equipment, so setups may mean something in this series. And I'm not driving very seriously. I mean,
Left, 2 minutes.
I'm driving in my Crocs, to give you an idea.
You've just done a 106.9.
You do have downshift protection in this car. So, magic question. Gyro, do I buy this car? Absolutely. Buy this car. The good car. And it's a worthy successor to Formula Renault 2.0 and possibly the Skippy. Both of those cars, in terms of series, may be merged into this one. Because that's what goes on in real life. Just going to let him go by. That's a position there.
Right side. Clear right.
I'm letting him go by.
Your lap time was 107.4.
Brian lost it. But yeah, definite purchase this car. If you want to learn how to drive a formula car. It has enough of the lessons from both the Skippy. Yep. It has both some Skippy characteristics and some Formula Renault 2.0 characteristics. Nice. I like the car. I knew what I did wrong there, and it
Place. White
the
flag,
feel.
flag.
The car actually is able to tell you the feedback with the way that it turns and spins. Hey, this is what you did. There's no mystery. That's why I like it. Definite purchase. And it's going to be a great league car. As well. See, he made the same mistake I made. You overdrive the corner, the car unloads, has no grip.
P8. Okay, it's over. Well done, mate. Good finish.
We did, and we lost the car and still did a minute 6. And I had not done a lot of practice. But a couple things that I would tell everyone. Lower the brake bias back a little bit. That's the first thing. Trust me, it will help you once the fronts get warmed up. And the other thing is, yeah, as you learn the car, drive from the back. Because you just saw a pretty accurate representation of what is going to happen. So started from the back, had to take a fast repair, 16th to 8th, typical driver race. People were pretty nice. We're going to call this one good. Anyway, my friends, as always, take care of yourselves, take care of one another. God bless.